you saw was black folks. It was a miracle. After 400 years of slavery, black folks were going to start coming back to Islam, coming back to it, so on and so forth. In America, Islam is the fastest growing religion. White folks are becoming Muslims, Mexicans are becoming Muslims, Asians are becoming Muslims, and so on and so forth. But it is really growing among black folks. It's taking off. Now, as African Americans, here's where it gets deep. As African Americans come to Islam, there is concerted effort by this government to make sure that African Americans do not come to Islam in a way that Al-Hajj did. They do not want a leadership style based on the model of Hajj Malik Shabazz. They don't want it. They don't want it. And any leader who picks that up has better be prepared to die. You gotta be prepared to die. Because that's how significant that leadership was and is. What happened? When Malcolm came to the Quran Sunnah, one, he hooked us up with Islamic movements around the world that were revolutionary. That was one. It's not talking about Ikhwan, Muslim Brotherhood, so on and so forth, particularly Ikhwan, Muslim Brotherhood. Malcolm hooked up with people in the Ikhwan, particularly the son-in-law of Hassan al-Banna. Malcolm hooked up. Hassan al-Banna was a major Islamic figure in Islamic history. The West celebrated, the United States celebrated Hassan al-Banna was martyred in Egypt. They celebrated that he was killed, Hassan al-Banna. Malcolm hooked us up with Islamic revolutionary movements around the world. That was extremely significant. The other thing that happened, brothers and sisters in the Black liberation movement started becoming Muslim. Now, this is significant. Ex-Black Panthers started becoming Muslims. Ex-Black Liberation Army people started becoming Muslim. The Republic of New Africa, what was formed also was an Islamic Republic of New Africa, right? You start seeing this in the movement, in the Black liberation struggle. You start becoming more Islamic. So when H. Rap Brown becomes Muslim, when H. Rap Brown became Muslim, this sends like shock, a good kind of shock, a bad shock to them, a good shock for us. When he became a Muslim, H. Rap Brown's a Muslim. Come on, H. Rap Brown's a Muslim. Because this government believed that there were three leaders potentially who will follow after Malcolm. Three. One was Martin. They said that Martin changed his thought pattern. Right? He could be a real contender in this way. Martin started changing. Martin was assassinated. He changed it. At San Diego State, remember we read some excerpts from Martin? Some of y'all thought it was Malcolm. The way he was talking. Some people thought it was Malcolm. The way Martin was talking. Right? The other two, Stokely Carmichael, who became Kwame Ture, and H. Rap Brown. Alright? H. Rap Brown, they call him rap. Some of you young people think rap is a new word. Some of y'all think rap is a new word. Just like some of you young people think some of these beats is new beats. And I love saying to young people, check that beat, check that beat. Yeah, you like that beat? Yeah. Like that beat. That beat's 30 years old. No, they know it. 30 years old. That's 30 years old. 30-year-old beats. Anyway, it's important. It's very important. H. Rap Brown was looked at as being one of the next Malcolm X's who becomes a Muslim. As soon as H. Rap Brown became a Muslim, the government automatically thought, and still feels to this day, to a large degree, that H. Rap Brown, look at the progression, civil rights movement, right? National Action Group in D.C., SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Black Panther Party, check out the progression. You know the historians say when in the early 60s, the people began as Martin's children, and they came out Malcolm's children, late 60s, right? So here he does, Nonviolent Action Group, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, although they were talking Black Power, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, right? Muslim. You had people, Brother Imam was talking about when he was in prison one time. One of the times he was in prison, he talked to one of the brothers who was in the Black Liberation Army, and he said to him, how did you become a Muslim? He said, man, I became a Muslim because so many of our people in a big responsibility of seeing why. So I had to study Islam. I became Muslim. It was happening all over the place. So now, check it out. The Black Liberation Army now, people with Black Panther experience, Black Liberation Army experience, right? Are becoming Muslims. Honestly, with that background. Now, here's how they're thinking. We got to divert them, send them to Arabia to study. And those institutions that we control. Right. Let an evil shape, let an evil scholar teach them. Tell them Malcolm didn't know Arabic. Malcolm didn't know the Malay. Shafi, Mali, Hamdan. Malcolm didn't know those things. You know more than Malcolm. So now you start looking down on Shaheed. What are you talking about? Shahada, sins forgiven. Hajj, sins forgiven. Martyrdom, sins forgiven. You gotta know honor. That's a high level honor right there. So now you've got a situation where the Black liberation struggle now is being influenced by Islam, right? Make sure they do not have a picture of Hajj Malik Shabazz. Do not take that to the next level. Promote leaders who praise America. We love America. As Muslims, we love America. Thank America for using smart bombers. George Bush, some Muslims say George Bush is an honorable man. Right? Yishak Rabin, remember that cracker, the Jewish cracker who was assassinated? Yeah. Right? One of the Muslim, African-American Muslim leaders had on the cover of their newspapers, our condolences to the family of Yishak Rabin. And then when we opened it up, I said, Quran and Sunnah. Then we opened it up, there's somebody who did a poem for him. Yishak Rabin, a man of peace. Right? And then in his bio, it talks about how he helped liberate cities in Palestine. He's a Muslim. These are Muslims believing in Quran and Sunnah. And see, it causes confusion among people. Because in all due respect, they see this spark out there, throw it, and they Quran and Sunnah. And they throw it. And then they see Quran and Sunnah. We love America. America is our home. You must defend America. See the confusion? Yes. Somebody's throwing down. It's not Quran and Sunnah. Somebody's saying Allah bless America. But it's Quran and Sunnah. Confusion. Now, where are those African American Muslims who are bringing both together? Militancy, Quran and Sunnah. Hajj Malik Shabazz. That's how Hajj Malik Shabazz. Bring them together. So now there are attempts right now to try to get us to go away from the legacy. So when Imam Jamil becomes a Muslim, Imam Jamil becomes a Muslim. And now Imam Jamil is being even more specific than Hajj Malik Shabazz was. Because Al-Hajj only got so far. He only got so far. Now Imam Jamil is being specific. Look here, y'all. He said, look here, because see, back in the 60s, y'all, here's what happened. You gotta come on now. You can't fight from high. You can't fight from high. All the FBI did when they saw some of the panels, in all due respect to the panels, he likes to be high. Give him drugs. He likes cute drugs. Give him cute drugs. And what happened was we began to think that we can fight against a corrupt system without fighting the corruption in ourselves. And once you try to fight a corrupt system on the outside, without fighting the corruption on the inside, then when we win, we become like the very people